Welcome back to the show, everybody. My name is Mark.
And I'm RJ, and we're here to talk about the Montreal Canadiens and the Toronto Maple Leafs, their trials and their tribulations.
Yeah,
what's coming up this week, I guess.
Right, let's talk about what's coming up this week. Toronto is...
Well, I've got Toronto's got two games. Every game's important when you're 2 or 3 points out of the playoffs. But the reason these are particularly because these are two teams ahead of the Leafs, and don't make a joke that almost every team's ahead of the Leafs. We have moved up a little bit. So we've got Florida on Tuesday, and that team's with tape and glue with all the injuries to major components they're trying to keep it going, and that'll be a tough game on the road. And then on Thursday we move on to Philadelphia, and both these teams are 5 or 6 wins in their last 10 games each, just like the Leafs. So they're going to be two tough games. And it's pretty important. If they lose, let's say they lose both these games, that's when they get back into that danger level of moving back to maybe 6 or 7 points out of the playoffs, depending on what's going on with Pittsburgh's resurged again. I just buried them last week saying gravity took over. They're back in the hunt. So it's going to be these are pretty tough games for the Leafs on the road. I'd like to see them come out with 2 or 3 points one way or the other.
Yeah, Toronto's 14th, I think, in the East right now, but they're only 4 points away from the wild card.
No.
4 points? 5 points away. 50. Yeah, 5 points away from the wild card. 4 points away. It's not everything. So they definitely can't.
They're 4 points away, but they have and Philadelphia has a game in hand too.
Yeah.
So it is more like an extra point there.
Yeah, but
so
these
are essential games because
yeah.
they're getting into. Once you get, I keep saying it. Once you get past 8 points. If you're, especially with this many teams jammed up in the middle, every time you win, someone else wins. With these 3 point games, teams getting points for overtime losses. It's going to be hard to recover. The Leafs are in a danger spot right now.
Yeah, it's definitely that time of the season now where they got to stop the bleeding, and they got to start winning a lot more than they're losing.
I mean, they've taken points in the last 6 or 7 games. I think they've only won game and they didn't get points, and they're still mired down there. This is how tough it is. Anyway, what have you got going on this week?
Yeah, we got back-to-back games Wednesday and Thursday, both at home because the Montreal Canadiens have been on the road now for a few games. So we got the Flames on Wednesday, and we got Florida on Thursday. The Flames are 14th in the West right now. Should be a pretty good game. I like the inter-Canadian teams. I like when Canadian teams play against each other. It's always entertaining. It makes good hockey. We're playing the Panthers on Thursday. They're 9th in the West and the East, and I feel confident because we beat them last game. We beat them 3-2.
We'll have them in a bad mood. They'll be in a bad mood on Thursday because we're going to win.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is hopefully you guys beat on them enough that you can maybe wear them out so that even if they do have a day's rest in between on Wednesday.
I think we're going to beat them. They're really going to want to have a comeback game on Thursday. You can afford it. You can afford a loss.
No, we can't. We don't want to. Anyways, we're
Montreal.
We're second in the Atlantic right now.
Well, you're third place overall.
Third.
You're in third now.
In the East.
You were in 6th last week when we did our last show. Now they're in 3rd.
Yeah, well, we've done pretty good. Montreal hasn't lost a game in regulation. Be
careful.
At least 6 or 7 games now. We've lost in overtime. But I think out of the 7 games...
The Leafs are doing the same thing, but the wheels are spinning in the ditch because there's so many teams in front of them and everyone's getting 1 point. I personally, myself, I think the 1 point thing kind of sucks. Just make it 2.
Yeah. So if you're looking at the last 10, we have 6 wins, 2 losses, and 2 ties. So we're doing pretty good in Montreal right now. I'm pretty happy with that. Anyways, join us on Friday when we do another recap of this week's games. And
in the meantime, though, we're gonna do a little Olympic coverage.
Yeah, we're gonna do a little Olympic coverage,
and we'll touch the WGAC, the World Juniors, which of course,
and we'll put out another video.
Quiet, a little bit disappointing last night.
Yeah,
but anyway,
we'll put out another video about the midway point as well. Talk about that. See how our teams are doing halfway through the season. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.